Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening wherever you are. We've been talking about police brutality, and I was just thinking, did something go wrong when police were being trained? And if so, is it time for change to come where police can be trained properly, effectively, so that way we all could be treated like humans? Well, anyway, a friend of mine put a little skit together on how he thinks police were trained. So check this out.
There goes a sight from my soul. There goes a sight from my soul.
Welcome to police brutality training. You are here to serve and protect by using excessive force against the people that you protect. The fact that it's illegal for citizens to protect themselves against you while you're protecting them with violence against them makes it easier for you to protect them without consequences. You've been selected as police brutality candidates because of your insecurity, your feelings of weakness, and your willingness to compensate for these inadequacies by having a sense of power and authority over other people, so you never have to deal with your insecurities. Your first lesson in serving and protecting is how to racially profile. Step number 1, feel inferior about yourself because you're a weak and scared person. Because you don't have the courage to deal with who you are on the inside, project this weakness onto other people. See them the way you feel on the inside, as weak and inferior. Step 3, the more you can project this onto someone who's a different color than you, the more you can be convinced that it's they who are weak and inferior. Because the more different they look than you, the more you can believe it's not you that is the way that you think they are. Step number 4, believe that you are superior to them as you treat them like they're less than human. Step 5, this all is how you compensate for how powerless you feel on the inside because you're a coward. If you are ever questioned about any of this because your job is inherently dangerous, just use those dangers as the rationalization to justify why you do this. That'll also keep things from changing. There's 4 major types of ethnicities in this country: white, non-white, definitely not white, and Caucasianly impaired. Our brutality research shows these 3 ethnicities have either just committed a crime or are about to commit a crime 100% of the time. Further, they don't really communicate in a spoken language. They respond better to the language of force. Let's take a look at some training video examples of how to serve and protect people. Here you can see this officer protecting this man by catapulting his head into a concrete curb. There is no threat like peaceful protests. Luckily, this officer keeps the peace by trampling this woman with a 1,200-pound horse. Here you can see the NYPD and LAPD driving over protesters. These officers had their seatbelts on to shine the ethos of protection and safety. These officers are protecting this man from this woman with pepper spray because she was trying to harm him by helping him up. Because protesting is a constitutional right, tear gas is being used to support that right. This man was clearly armed because you could see his arms. Here's this officer protecting this woman right in the face. He's obviously a shining, confident individual. This officer is protecting this unarmed man in the back of the head 12 times. In this highly threatening situation, this man with his arms behind his back was not resisting arrest, which means he was about to. Luckily, this officer steps in to prevent him from resisting. As these police arrest this highly suspicious unwhite man for jaywalking, They serve and protect him by using his face to break a windshield. Don't look away. Keep your eyes open and keep watching. It's not comfortable and it's not convenient, but it'll never be convenient, and nothing will change if we keep looking the other way. Here you can see this non-black officer protecting this black man by punching him in the face. Luckily, when backup arrives, while he's already handcuffed, laying face down, he gets kicked in the face to ensure society is maximally protected by these definitely not racist officers. This man in Sacramento was tackled and arrested for leaving his car running, which apparently now is illegal to do if you're unwhite.
Hit in the belly with a non-lethal round tonight. A pregnant woman is among those hurt during Austin's protests.
I hate pregnant women.
Sanchez spent much of his weekend with his brother here at the hospital.
They shot his face. That is not okay.
16-year-old Brad Levi-Ayala needed a 7-hour surgery after being shot in the head at Saturday's protest with what APD said was a less lethal beanbag round.
You could tell by the way the 16-year-old was just standing there that he was about to commit a felony.
Chief Brian Manley said at Sunday night's protest, the use of the beanbag ammo and a modified 12-gauge shotgun left a 20-year-old black male fighting for their life tonight.
It is absolutely within your right to protest police brutality against black people. You'll just get shot in the head if you do. Here you can see this woman assaulting a defenseless officer by repeatedly hitting him in the fist with her face. Turns out she was trying to cross the freeway, but luckily for her, this officer stopped her for her safety. As you can see from the footage of the 4 officers serving and protecting Rodney King in 1991, nothing has changed about our policies. And luckily, all 4 officers were okay and weren't found guilty of doing anything other than serving and protecting. Black Lives Matter. Which AP, don't you mean all lives matter? First off, if that's what you're saying, I'm guessing you're not black. And I want you to know this isn't about you. I very much mean Black Lives Matter. It's like every bone in the body matters, but if the femur is wounded, hurting, and in need of healing right now, then we need to direct our attention to that specific bone. And our black family in this country is hurting right now. And they've had their cries for help silenced for several hundred years. They need everyone's help, attention, and support right now. That's why Black Lives Matter. In my eyes, there is zero controversy about the statement Black Lives Matter. I know I'm a white guy, but if you feel controversial about this statement, then I would ask you to consider this question. Why can't you let this be about Black Lives Mattering right now? If you happen to be sitting there criticizing and judging others on social media for what they're doing, trying to make a difference, then I want you to ask yourself this. Why are you criticizing and judging others for trying to make a difference instead of you putting your energy into making a difference in the racial inequality issue? I want you to hear this. If you're attacking others for their anti-racist activism, you are expressing anti-racist behavior. Mathematically speaking, that's racist. And in spite of your George Soros and Antifa rationalizations, that's racist. And I just want you to know that's what you're doing. JP, why are you against cops? I'm not against cops. I realize most cops are good people doing good work. And good cops doing good work isn't a problem. That's why I'm not talking about it. There's nothing to solve. What is a problem is bad cops who are not fit for service, who racially profile, use excessive force, and who murder. We have to change. Silence is no longer an option. It's no longer a hiding spot. Those who remain silent are enabling systemic racism to continue, and that's not okay. Our black family in this country needs everyone's help right now. Speak up, speak out, have uncomfortable conversations, demand change, take action, be brave. One way you can take action is to join me in donating to these important causes. The NAACP, the Minnesota Freedom Fund, the George Floyd Memorial Fund, and Black Lives Matter. And I would also encourage you to take action on anything else that your heart is guiding you to do. Thank you.
I didn't want to come, and I don't want to be here. I'm the son of an Atlanta City police officer.
You want a different senator that's more progressive, that promotes marijuana through? Now is the time to do that. But it is not time to burn down your own home.
Dog, so what's up? So listen, I'm just telling you, these cops love you. That cop over there hugs people, so you tell us what you need to do.